Yeah, I heard that on the radio, like these broker events, and the brokers are all turning up in ridiculous cars, all brand new. And
£200,000, you could buy a house for that, but you decide to buy a car with it?
Hello and welcome to the Two Fat Brokers. I'm Ben from Abu Dhabi.
I'm Barney from Dubai.
And today we're going to be talking about social media in real estate. I would say social media advertising, because kind of that's the only thing it's really used for, either to advertise, agents personally, or to promote, projects or properties.
I mean, that's quite cynical. Sometimes people just want to see what other people are up to.
Yeah, but I mean, the reason why you're posting it is
for your personal brand.
Yeah, for your personal brand. So that's advertising. Even if you're posting something, I mean, social media should really be informative. But even if you're posting, exactly like what we're doing now, trying to inform people about stuff, but we're not doing it because we love sitting in a darkened room talking to each other about, spitting distance. We're doing it, because we want to get our personal brands out there for our companies and for ourselves.
Ta-da! New microphones. Due to technical misadventure, we have different microphones.
Changed our audio output.
Social credibility, credibility on social networks.
Yeah.
So, as I say, there are different ways of getting your message across, and the interesting thing is obviously different things, different strokes for different folks, right? Some people will look at someone's Instagram and say, these guys are driving Lamborghinis and they're driving Bentleys and they're the kind of people I think I want to represent me. Other people will go, I am not interested in that at all. I'm interested in the boring bald guy who drones on about Abu Dhabi real estate the whole time. Some people like that.
Who is this guy? Because I want to meet him. He sounds
not all heroes wear capes.
So do you think those are the two approaches then? One, be informative, or two, be, I guess, evidence your ability by, showcasing?
I mean, I think it's a sliding scale, right? There's a happy medium for everything. You can be the data guy, you can be the flashy guy, you will appeal to someone. I'm sort of semi-data, semi-humorous, semi-informational. You're all information.
Semi-humorous. I'm going to say something controversial.
Don't. You've said enough.
I would prefer, just thinking about it now, I'd almost prefer the guy who's successful, because he might not know a lot. He might not, know the numbers and this and that, but maybe he's just, great at his job, and that's why he's made all this money.
But the data guy can also be successful.
But I mean, he can be, but, how do you know? Because, maybe he's a boffin, but, is that valuable to you?
A boffin?
Maybe.
I have not heard that word in such a long time.
Yeah, thank you very much. But what about the guy who's driving a Ferrari? He's obviously making a lot of money, must be very good at his job. Maybe I want to work with that guy, because I can see the evidence of what's happening. Whereas the guy who's talking a lot, yeah, okay, you're clever, but can you sell? Can you sell my house? If I'm a buyer, can you find me, the unit that I want to buy? So that almost seems better. Which is weird for me to say.
It was not what I was expecting you to say.
Yeah, normally I'd want the smart guy or whatever it is. But in the end, when we're talking about sales,
but there's degrees of
success,
right? What car do you drive to not come across as the guy that's probably skinny his clients, or is earning probably way too much money than he really should be? Do you know what I mean? Like, should you be driving a Ferrari? Should you be driving an Audi, a Range Rover, a BMW? Like,
Nissan
I think
Sunny.
so. I used to know a real estate agent who, and I told you this story a couple of minutes ago, he would drive around in a Rolls Royce, and he and I had the same client, and he came from one viewing with this guy, came to the viewing with me, and I said to him, what do you think about the car? And he said to me, I'm not buying a house from a guy who drives a nicer car than me, right? But there's also another real estate agent that I know who drives around in a Ferrari, but it works for him. No one's ever said that about him. So I guess potentially it might be marrying the sort of the lifestyles together.
Well, you've also employed, let's say, the spouse of someone who you've sold a house to. So they're obviously pretty wealthy people, and they're perhaps selling, units which are less valuable than the one they live in. So they're richer than, the people who they're selling
but
units.
They would probably never know
thing?
that. I mean, they would probably never know how wealthy they were.
If they were driving a Rolls or a Bentley.
She drove a Mercedes. You know,
Yeah.
it was a nice car. It wasn't, you know, one where you go, crikey, you know, she's making bank. But to be honest with you, she did a lot of business with people that she knew anyway. She doesn't work for us anymore, but, you know, I'd say the lion's share of her business was done with people that she knew. So they knew her background and they knew the kind of person that they were dealing with. She was a great broker.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing intrinsically wrong with doing business with a broker who's richer than you, because I mean, you know.
I mean, after recent events, a lot of brokers are very wealthy. So if you're not going to deal with the ones who are wealthier than you might be have some slim pickings.
Yeah, I heard that on the radio, like these broker events, and the brokers are all turning up in ridiculous cars, you know, all brand new, and you know that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we had a tailor come down to Abu Dhabi, and his starting suit was like 4,000 dirhams, like for the cheapest one, and some of them go up to 30,000. And he works mostly with real estate agents.
Yeah.
30,000 dirhams for a suit.
So the psyche about some real estate agents is new money. I'm gonna spend 20,000 dirhams on a suit instead of putting a deposit down on a studio somewhere. You know, I'm gonna spend a million dirhams on a car when I'm not worth 25, 30 million dirhams. That's just bonkers. Why are you spending that kind of money on a status symbol?
Well, perhaps it is
a million
advertising.
dirhams. You could buy a house, £200,000. You could buy a house for that, but you decide to buy a car with it. Come on. That's, again, a podcast for another time.
No, but so we're talking about social media, right? So we're talking about your own personal brand. So for some people, and I met a guy and he couldn't afford it, but he bought a Maserati because he says his clients expect him to turn up in a nice car because they expect him, just as I've said now, to say, well, okay, I want to work with a real estate agent who's making money because it shows that they're good at their job.
Why don't you drive a nice car then?
Because I don't like cars. And also, I don't sell units. And also, I hate the fact that I believe that. So, lots of reasons why I don't
It'll be
drive
a long,
nice
mournful
car.
drive back to Abu Dhabi, isn't it, Ben?
I mean, very possibly. Yeah. Anyway, that's like what one branch of social media is. You know, basically social proof and self promotion and stuff like that. The other branch is advertising on social media. And there's a lot, particularly off plan, is pretty much only sold either to referrals or based off the back of Facebook, Instagram, adverts.
It's more
Google
complex now
AdWords,
because in
all that
Dubai
kind of
you have
stuff.
to have the QR code that goes along with any advert. So if you're selling a house, you have to have a
secondary
QR
market,
code.
though, right?
No, off plan too.
But it'd be a QR code for the project,
Yes.
not per unit.
Not per unit.
Okay, so I mean, I'm sure it's dead easy to get the QR code for
Sure.
the project. So I mean, and we do it as well. And we're not big into off plan, but the way some companies are, we do a huge amount of advertising online with Facebook and these guys to get clients for off plan. That's a very, I think it seems to me a very unusual way to get clients, and we didn't do it for a long time. We thought Property Finder, referrals,
The world moves on without us,
stuff.
Ben.
Yeah.
When I first started selling houses, I had a phone. I didn't even have a computer. I had a phone and a box of slips of paper with people's contact details on and what they were looking for. And when someone came into the office, I would fill out one of these slips, and it was alphabetical, Rolodex. And I would go in there and I would stay in touch with them every week. Phone, when we got a new listing, I'd phone them up. That's how it used to be done.
Yes,
And then you had pictures in the window that you would slide in and out the pieces of paper, the brochures.
I still have those.
Yeah, well, you're a dinosaur, But that's the way it's moved on,
Yeah. But I think it's weird that people do that. It's obviously, we only do it because it works, obviously. But people see an advert, on Instagram or Facebook or, whatever it is. MySpace, still on MySpace. And then they click on that. And then a broker calls them up and says, are you interested in off-plan property? And they say yes. And we go along and we sell them an off-plan property.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is a pretty insane way to buy something so expensive. I mean,
It's a global marketplace, though, isn't it?
yeah, and I imagine it's the same in Dubai, but off-plan's still pumping in Abu Dhabi, still queues around the block.
And social media has
people
never
are
made it
very,
more
very
easy
keen.
to engage with an international audience, right? Your social media can be accessed from anywhere by anyone.
Yeah,
So it's never been a better time to be on social media, arguably.
yeah, and they can translate and things quite easily.
I think we'll do another podcast on how you can differentiate yourself from all of the other 17,200 registered real estate agents in Dubai on social media.
Well, I mean, we're doing one about social media now. Is there a succinct way to do it?
I haven't got time. I've got a meeting I need to get to.
Well, we've already said you can have the super flashiest Ferrari out there and look pretty amazing. You can, give interesting,
The only
informative
people
content.
that are gonna see you in that Ferrari are the clients that you turn up at and do viewings with.
Not if you do, like if you look at is it
Drive down the Sheikh
Faraz
Zayed road
Al
out the
Masadi. He all of his social media is with his fancy car. There's another guy who's got a G-Wagon. He does loads of stuff with his G-Wagon. People put that a lot in their social media a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it make me want to buy a house from them because they got a nice car? Like I said, it's a happy medium. You've got to go, okay, I am successful. I am portraying my success. However, I am knowledgeable. I'm displaying my knowledge, right? When you get that right, that's the secret sauce. I don't think anyone's going to go, he drives a Rolls Royce. I'm going to buy a house from him. They're going to go, he drives a Rolls Royce and he comes across like a good guy. He comes across like he knows what he's talking about. Once you've got that secret sauce, then it should be fairly academic. But one without the other.
But the problem is also it's easy to fake. It's easy to hire a car. Say you've done $500,000 worth of
I
business,
did it.
and
I did it before I was super successful. Not that I am, but you know what I mean. I hired a Range Rover to go and pick up a client to drive them around Emirates Hills in the Palm Jumeirah. And he said to me when he got in, he was like, "This is a nice car," and I said, "It's a rental," and he appreciated the honesty.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Did you say that now?
no, because I own my car.
Yeah, but you could say it's a rental.
No.
Would he appreciate that?
Well, that would be a lie, so probably not.
Marketing tactic.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to draw a line under it. I genuinely do have to go. So, we've been Two Fat Brokers. Thank you for joining us. I've been Barney from Dubai.
I've been Ben from Abu Dhabi.
See you next time.
Next time. Bye-bye.